Greetings, my fellow conservatives in Northwest Florida. I want to tell you a story about the day that Representative Matt Gaetz abandoned orphans, betrayed homeschoolers, and threw religious freedom underneath the bus. That day came when the Florida House of Representatives put forth a bill that would allow it to pay its employees up to $10,000 if they would adopt a child with special needs. A wonderful bill for sure. However, during the process of this bill, a number of amendments were put forth for a vote, and it's during that process that we get to see the true nature and heart of Representative Matt Gaetz. Here's how the story unfolds. A gentleman presents an amendment that was strike from the books that states that homosexual couples cannot adopt children. Now, the reason that amendment is peculiar is because a lower court ruling in the state of Florida already ruled that that law was unconstitutional. In other words, the law was already nullified and void. So why put energy and effort into it? I'll tell you why in just a moment. What becomes stranger still is when Representative Matt Gaetz stands up immediately after that amendment and states that he would like to amend that amendment. That is an extreme rare occurrence, to amend an amendment that's up for a vote. He states that he would like to reaffirm the rights that homeschoolers have the right to adopt children. Nowhere in state law did it state that homeschoolers could not adopt children. So in effect, we have an amendment on Part A that says we want to strike from the books a law that the courts already struck away. Part B, we want to grant a right to a group of people who already have the right. How schizophrenic can you be in legislation and still call yourself a conservative? So it passes, even though a number of Republicans vote against it. So what did that bill do, and how is Representative Matt Gaetz lying when he tells everybody that it changed nothing, and he gives the impression that he had very little to do with it? What it changed is this. It now denied the state of Florida from challenging the lower court ruling at the state Supreme Court level of which they plan to do. What Representative Matt Gaetz did was to put his fellow Republicans in an no-win scenario, because when the vote came to the floor, the vote wasn't, do you believe homosexuals have the right to adopt children, yes or no? The vote was, do you believe that homeschoolers have the right to adopt children, yes or no? So these representatives had mere moments, seconds to make a decision. And could you put yourself in their position? If you were to vote no on that bill, could you imagine in an election race how people can come out and say that you don't believe homeschoolers have the right to adopt children? And so to recap, Representative Matt Gaetz' amendment changed the way the vote was brought to the floor. Instead of asking a question, do you believe it's right for homosexuals to be able to adopt children? That was glossed over and given to the second part of the amendment, which is the way the House rules work. So in effect, he used homeschoolers as fodder to promote the LGBT agenda. Now, it doesn't stop there. The final problem with this might not be seen until years from now, when legal scholars are now saying that if a future legislative body were to strike from the law that one amendment, that it could give the ammunition an activist judge could use in saying that the state of Florida took away the rights of homeschoolers to adopt children, because, ladies and gentlemen, homeschoolers are now the only subgroup in the state of Florida that has a specific law written on their behalf stating that they have the right to adopt children. Thank you very much, Representative Matt Gaetz. Because he wants to promote one agenda, if he believes so much in this one thing, he could have added an amendment all by itself. He chose to add the amendment to the homosexual amendment so that that would get passed, and it would deny the right of the state of Florida to challenge the lower court ruling of whether or not homosexuals have the right to adopt children at the state Supreme Court level. This was the end result and goal in the very beginning. And ladies and gentlemen, this is establishment to the heart and core. We can't stop everything that's taken place in Washington, D.C., but if we band together on Tuesday and we vote for anybody other than Representative Matt Gaetz, we can stop the establishment from growing up in our backyard.
Paid for by Truth Watch PAC and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.